So let's talk about contracts and policies and procedures. This is a hot topic. I am starting the year off with a lot of clarity, hopping into whether you're a new spa or salon owner, or you're even in a aesthetics field and working for someone else. This is a great episode. You're going to love everything about it. So let's jump in. Okay, so this episode is all about your employee handbook or the policies and procedures you have for your spa or salon. If you are a esthetician or a hairstylist working for someone else, this is a great topic to bring up to your manager or the owner of the establishment. I feel like this is a great way to get everyone on the same page, whether that's the brand's missions, values, as well as where their vision is and where they're going. I know when I worked at other jobs in the past, just working that 9 to 5, you always kind of wonder what the actual drive is for the business and where you see yourself, whether that's with that business or growing somewhere else and your personal growth. So what we always start off is an introduction, whether obviously that's the podcast or kind of that welcoming package that you want to offer someone when they start with your business, the introduction to your business. So for example, our brick and mortar location is Muskoka Aesthetics here in Bracebridge, Ontario, Canada. And this is something we always have where our staff are jumping on, our new employees kind of don't know where to start and they're just kind of jumping into the job and not knowing what to expect. They don't know our values or our mission. Yes, it can come out a little bit during the interview area of the onboarding, but it's always great to actually have this written down so they're able to reflect on it later on throughout their time with you or throughout their career. So what we always do is the introduction to Muskoka Aesthetics and just a little opening segment saying welcome to the team, we're thrilled to have you. I'm just kind of summarizing this over, as well as even if they are already with you and they're growing with your team, just thank them. Thank them for growing with you and having the opportunity to be just a huge part of the success of the business. I feel like that goes a long way as well. And making sure, this is something why we're talking about this today, is because I have not updated our policies or anything since 2021. Really making sure that we've got everything we need to set up success for the business as well as the staff and employees. You can't expect them to know exactly what they're doing without having that guidance. Imagine if you were thrown in first day at your job at a new establishment, a new place, new employees, new boss. You don't know what their expectations are. You don't know what they're wanting from you as the new employee. Especially you want to put your best foot forward. I mean, all the time you do, but I feel like you specifically want to, especially in that first couple months of your probation as well. So, and knowing how you can help the team, really showing that you're a team player as well. So simple things that we include in that first page is obviously the first and last name of the employee, date of birth. Something with the date of birth I always like to do too, to make them feel extra special, is actually adding that into your schedule. Making sure on that date, not specifically giving them the day off, but actually blocking that off saying, oh, it's Nicole's birthday today, really making them feel special. So then it's a reminder that it's their day. We also, when it is our employees' days, if they do celebrate their birthdays, we always give them the little birthday girl pin. We also decorate their station if they're specifically a nail tech in that area, and or just surprise them with something. I know a lot of people don't like the attention on them, so we try to customize it to what that specific person wants, and or just give them a gift card to a local business and or something that's one of their favorite things. So that's just a little side note about the birthdays for any employees you may have, as well as their mailing address, social insurance number, contact phone number, as well as email. I always like to include 2 emergency contacts, just in case you can't reach one of them. Another one would be available with both their name and phone number. And I always like to put the relationship on how they are related to this person. We do direct deposit for payment at our spa, and I actually have the direct deposit or void check information directly to my bookkeeper, so they can send that right away to her. It kind of keeps me hands off as the actual business owner, where they know if they have any questions with that, they can send that over to her and she'll keep me in the loop with what's going on. Vacation pay also, whether that's getting paid out and or it's being held for them, and just make sure you get their signature on those, as well as even even their start date. That's something else I feel like sometimes I forget because time goes by so fast. Just remembering when that employee started. It's a great referral point for when you do their 3-month probation, and or if there's any questions that they may have of like, oh, I've been here a year. Is there any like for your performance reviews and such? Company policies and procedures. I feel like this is kind of like an overview for what they know and like the summary of the business. For us, like our core hours as well as arrival times, just knowing that the girls know like they need to be at the spa, let's say 15 minutes prior to their appointment time start, as well as keeping busy. Like I pay my girls at 15 minutes prior to when they arrive to their position, because they're going to be busy. They're coming into the spa, they're clocking in, they've got to get their clients' stations prepped, they've got to get laundry switched over. They're literally hustling as soon as they walk in that door. As well as just the client experience, like making sure that they're prepped, ready to go to take that client either 5 or even 10 minutes early before that appointment time to start the day off right. Because we all know, being service providers, your day can go insane if someone's late or if you're running late. And just letting them know like the core values of the business, of the hours. That's something that I feel like, especially as a new employee, it's like, oh, I don't know what the set hours are, if that's specifically for the business and or for positions. And making that very open to them if they're wanting to have any conversations around like variation in hours, or if they decide that they want to start working more shifts, really leaving that open. So letting them know that the flexible hours are there if they want to contact HR to talk more about that. Also front desk coverage, just letting people know who's in charge of answering those phone and text messages right off the bat in the morning. I always like to have one of our managers in the morning and just kind of oversee everything, get there before a lot of the staff members arrive, just so we can have like a pep talk in the morning, and or if there's any clients that are coming in specifically, like we have very aging demographic here in Muskoka. So if we have a client that needs help actually getting out of their vehicle, or they have a wheelchair, or if they actually need assistance to walk back to the treatment room or get soaking, if they take a little bit of extra time for mobility issues, that's just a great way for everyone to know, or even writing notes in their appointments. Time off requests. This is another really hot topic I feel like I feel like we were just talking about that a lot at the spa, coming into the new year, people wanting time off. So requests, like we usually like to have, if people are needing a single day off, whether that's for a doctor's appointment or just like, let's say for something that has come up, special occasion, whatever. I always say I like to have 2 weeks for a single day, and speak to our HR manager about that. And if they don't have clients, that's fine by me. Like I'm usually pretty flexible with that. But if they do have clients, trying to figure out if they're able to move those clients and or book those with someone else. But I really, really don't like moving clients or rescheduling anyone. So usually that's kind of my conversation starter right there, is like, do you have any clients already booked with you? Because usually, depending on the severity of the request, and usually it's about the clients. Let's be real. That's what we're in this business for, is catering to our clients. So they usually know that rule. A lot of the time they won't request if they already know that they have appointments scheduled in with them. Request to take time off or vacation. This is something that I usually, as a business owner, so if it's usually more than like 4 days, they're looking to go for like a week vacation somewhere, that's something as a business owner, I usually chat to them about that. Requests for vacation though, usually we like to have 2 to 3 months in advance, just because we do book so far out. It depends on the nature of your business. If you aren't booked that far out, or you only allow your booking so far in advance, that is something that is totally flexible. Vacation time as well. So we try to make it so not all of our service providers are off at the same time. So if someone's requesting time off, let's say just for example, March break, everybody wants March break off. Well, first come, first serve, whoever has that time off first, or if they're the same service provider. So if we have like 2 nail techs that are going off at the same time, one of them can only go at the same time. Also having prime months that people can't take time off, really being transparent with that. Like we know in Muskoka, our busy season is the summer as well as Christmas. Those are like June, July, August, as well as December are our hot months where we really need all hands on deck. Even November, to be honest, it's starting to look that way again. But really being transparent with your team, like if they need this, it needs to be a specific request that goes to the business owner that they need those times off, just so they have like some type of guideline when booking vacation, or when they know kind of when would be the ultimate time for them to go and take that vacation. I know as like myself, I'm like, oh, when's my slow time? That's when I'm going to go vacation. Even as a business owner, is not as the service provider anymore. I'm still looking at the schedule and saying, oh, I don't want to go away during those busy months because I know I need to be here. So I got a beauty tip from one of my 90-year-old clients the other day, and I am so glad I asked her. Her hair was just perfect. Her skin was glowing, and I had to ask her what she was doing differently. And she said she ended up purchasing one of the Blissy pillowcases online, and she's so glad she did. It is a luxurious Millberry silk, ultimate comfort and quality. And I mean, quality is perfection. They come in different colors, different shapes, depending on your pillow size. And after using it for a few months, I definitely noticed a difference in my hair not being as frizzy, my skin feeling just more hydrated and not as dried out with those cotton pillowcases. We reached out to Blissy, and they're actually offering an exclusive $20 off when purchasing with our link below. So make sure to click our link in the show notes to get your Blissy pillowcase $20 off, and you will thank me later. Same with sickness. This is a whole other topic in its own. I feel like this could be a whole other podcast in its own, or podcast episode. So regarding sickness, I really am really strict about our cancellation policy with our clients. So I don't see why we can't be with our staff. They need to let us know the date, like the day before. So let's say they're not feeling well at night, and it's like, okay, it's like 5 p.m. I cannot know any later if you cannot come into work. They need to let the managers know right away, and like a group text or call them so we can start rearranging their day, because I don't expect clients to be paying the cancellation policy of the 24 hours if our staff are canceling literally within that 24 hours. It just doesn't make sense. It's really not okay with myself as like the business owner, and also as just like clients have to reschedule their whole day depending if they had that appointment booked and rescheduled. And yeah, it's just not fair to anybody. So also for managers, like, I don't know about you guys, if you're a spa owner or manager listening to this podcast, but being like, oh my gosh, I have to reschedule like someone's whole day tomorrow and I have nowhere to put them. And just like that panic text when you get that, I don't think people sometimes realize the amount of stress of them calling in sick actually gives us as the managers or the owners who have to reschedule their entire day, and just the inconvenience. We're all human. We're all going to get sick, but it's better to let us know and having that preparation to actually be able to move those appointments around. Also regarding sickness, like if they're having to be off for more than 2 days, I really want to let them know, like, you are going to have to stay later to accommodate some of those clients we weren't able to move, and or like open up a weekend in your schedule or something to get those clients in. If they are sick for more than 4 days, I would like them to have a doctor's note as well, and to bring that into HR to chat about that. Regarding any personal reasons, whether that's leaving for maternity leave, well, I hope I would know more than 3 months in advance for maternity leave, but if people have personal reasons or anything like that, that they're moving or they're doing a whole new change where they won't be at the spa anymore, we would like to know within 3 to 4 months for that, just because we usually open our book like 3 to 4 months in advance. That way we can prep also for them to start letting clients know. Like, I rather my girls let their clients know whether there's been a change or if they're going out on their own or if they're moving or whatever. So clients then hear it from them versus a business owner, where sometimes, especially in a small town, things can be mixed up, or things can, the whole game of telephone, things can go different ways. And I'd rather it be heard from the technician's mouth themselves. And yeah, it's just so then staff can be excited for them. I've had it where, like, a lot of the time, if people are going out on their own, I'm like, tell your clients, I don't care. Like, I'd rather them know that we have a good relationship around this than vice versa. I'd rather them know that I'm supportive of you. I'm supportive of you even moving, or if there's like a personal reason or whatever, that we are that kind of happy place for them to feel okay to be themselves, as well as personal growth. I am a huge promoter of personal growth in the beauty industry, as well as just any part of life, to be honest. And that's something that I think we really take pride in, as we prepare people to be able to do these things and feel confident to go out on their own and or grow within the industry. Also within hiring, probation periods, this is a really hot topic as well, is your 3-month probation period. we do beauty benefits. And that's something that we do instead of like actual like health benefits at this point, because it's just something that's not feasible in our business yet, maybe one day. Paying for the girls' services, because I feel like you have to look and act the part. So paying for their services. So I usually allot my girls an allowance, like a dollar value, or they're allowed like 2 services a month or every 3 weeks, depending on the service type. Medical services, if that's like Botox filler or any of our medical services like laser, IPL, such, we have like a different thing for that. So our nurse injector, they would be paying her. And then for our medical facials or lasers, they would be paying a discounted rate there instead of just it completely being free. We also provide the first uniform top for employees as well. And then also the deposit. So I usually get our new hires to pay a deposit of $50 for the uniform, because I've had it before where people start and then they quit after 3 months, and you've given them the beauty benefits, you've given them the discount on products, you've given them the world, and then they end up just taking it all and leaving. So I've learned over the years that it's better to be safe than sorry. And it also just instills like the rules that you have and the policies within your business. So during the probation period as well, we ensure that like they're set up, they're ready to start the biz. Of course, I feel like every time I start a podcast, Millie decides to play with her toys. It's like she knows I'm either talking to myself or I'm talking to somebody on the phone. Anyways, so this is something that I feel like with the probation period, the managers, or if you have like an onboarding manager or somebody that's kind of like their sounding board, usually like HR or something, depending on how you're set up. But this is something that's really important, because they need someone that they can go to ask questions, someone that they feel safe going to, and just knowing that they're the kind of like the higher power for them as like their manager, right? Within the 3 months of probation period as well, like I'm not giving someone a key to my establishment until they've proven that they're now a staff member of the spa. And yeah, those are just like a few things at the probation period that I think are really important. And like I said, I've learned over the years of owning a spa for 8-9 years, it's really important to have these written down in our contract, and just there. So if there is any questions, they can refer back to those. Lunch breaks, all of that. I feel like that's all very standard when it comes to labor law, especially here in Canada. It's pretty much, you can Google it, you can find it anywhere. The other thing that we have as well is the staff members like trying to schedule, if they're going to do their beauty benefits, this is another point, is getting them to schedule them on either their lunch hour, before or after work, would be ideal. That's just something I feel like, not taking those appointment times away from clients, as well as like when people have breaks. That's another thing for kind of like a buddy system. Like instead of always having the same service provider or vice versa, or they only offer one service, just make sure that they're being shared throughout. So it's not always that same person that's providing the service. They still are able to get those regular clients in too. So we've had that before where we've only ever had like, let's say one lash tech. So everyone's booking their lashes with her. And then finally we had another lash tech. So it was more shared within the staff members getting services done. So just kind of making sure that's as fair as possible, because that has been a touch point with some of our staff, just saying like, it's not fair, I'm the one doing all these services and I'm not getting tips, and I'm just like, everyone's using me for this. So really making sure that that's something that you can talk to your team about, and making sure it's fair across the board. Just making sure that employees know who to report to. That's another thing of like knowing, if I need time off, if I need inventory check, if I need this, they know who is that person that they need to report to. These are just simple things. Like I hate when people are eating at our front desk. Obviously they can drink water. I don't like that kind of stuff is like a necessity, but like they can't be eating at the front desk. Like I've had it before where girls are eating, I don't even know what, like hard-boiled eggs or things like that. They just like smell so bad. Like you're coming into the spa and you're like, oh my God, it literally smells like rotten eggs in here. And it's not the best experience. So whether you have a lunchroom or the girls go out for lunch or whatever, just try to make policies of where they can be eating and where they shouldn't be eating. Simple things like when I was in aesthetic school, we were not allowed to chew gum. That's another thing, is just like setting that rule as like a policy that you have. Make sure that they know, like we have a fridge and a kitchen space, just making sure that they're keeping all of their personal belongings either in like the coat closet, or we have like a drink cabinet by like all the girls' stations, so they know that they can keep their drinks in there, same with their food, beverages, all that kind of stuff. Dress code. Dress code is something I never believed in until after COVID. I don't know about you guys, but like I feel like nobody, like including myself, I don't even know how to put an outfit together still. And it's been how long we've been out of like lockdown and living from our homes. But we are trying to change our business, and we are changing it more into like a medi spa. And with that, I feel like we have this brand standard that we need to be more professional. We need to be more medical grade, more sterile, all the things. So we get our girls to wear scrubs, not like oversized, like frumpy scrubs, but just like a black uniform scrub with a really nice flattering top, as well as their name tag and black footwear and no heels, just from doing facials and things like that. Like, you know, I'm gonna be stomping around and making lots of noise. Same with like no sweaters or hoods, nothing with design or pattern, just making sure it's all black. We do encourage, if girls want like a black long sleeve underneath, or if they want like a lab coat or almost like a black cardigan of some sort, that's totally fine. Making sure they have no hair or like animal hair or lint or anything on their uniforms, making sure there's like no bleach marks, that kind of thing as well. Actually, I'm going to add that right now since I'm going through this, because I forgot about bleach, especially with black. Muskoka Aesthetics will provide the uniform top at no cost as that first initial uniform. And that's something else, like we don't have like a set thing of where people need to be purchasing their uniforms from. I usually just get the girls to send me a link and I'll basically approve it, or HR will approve what they're purchasing. We had it where we all had the same, but it was next to impossible to make sure everyone had the same sizes, and just making sure it was all uniformed. So totally up to you and what you want your team to have. We also have we're all human. We all have different body types and what we feel comfortable. We've also had it too where we have girls that are pregnant and they can't wear that specific uniform anymore and they're having to wear something else. So be flexible with them. Make sure you're being human, making sure that they feel confident and they feel comfortable coming into work. So yeah, the beauty benefits, we already chatted about that. Let's see what else we got. Buddy system benefits. Yeah. So commission off products in retail, as well as discounts for them to purchase product, because we really want your staff members or team to be purchasing the products that you're selling and retailing, which is huge. So then they can actually talk and share about it. We also, if we get a bunch of samples, I always like the girls to try them, touch and feel, even the back bar items as well. And then actually making sure that they accurately log their hours. We use Mango Mint at the spa, but it has its own clock in and clock out, which is amazing. Or if you use QuickBooks, clock, whatever works for clocking in and clocking out, just making sure that the girls know like they need to be doing that, whether they're coming into the spa or after, because that is something that will cost you money and time with them. Like, oh, I don't know what I worked, or I don't know what my commission was, or I can't remember what that client had got for retail. Or if you're hourly and commission spa, all the things, just make sure that the girls know how to log their hours and information correctly into your system. It'll save you a lot of headaches down the road, as well as time wasted with your bookkeeper and accountant of trying to figure those things out. So really making sure that you have that playbook of what an onboarding day looks like with either your spa manager or yourself as the owner, and making sure that it's okay to change the policies. It's okay to change things. Just make sure that it's all updated in your books. Like I said, I have not redone this since 2021, and it is pretty crazy what the difference in how much our business has grown in that amount of time. Even education, like I always really promote education with my girls and like how we can support them, whether that's giving them like an education bonus or like a budget that they can work in with like per year. It's like, you have this much money for continual education. What are you going to do with that? Or coming to us if it's a service that we're wanting to provide and they're interested in taking that course or online course, or going somewhere to take that course. Sign up for a free trial of Mango Mint today and tell them you heard about them on this podcast. You'll get a second month free. We highly recommend you jumping on board of Mangoment because it has changed our brick and mortar and our spa location for the better. It has taken the guessing work out of everything with their reporting, admin, and clients absolutely love it. So make sure to mention that you listen to this podcast and they will give you a 1 extra free month. So that's 2 extra months that they are offering you through Mangoment. There is no risk. It's easy onboarding and their customer service is absolutely outstanding. So make sure to email them today and hear more about Mangoment from our podcast. Confidentiality, this is huge. Like, we definitely have some, I don't want to say we have celebrities at our spa, but we definitely have we have people in Muskoka, and sometimes it's one of those things where we really need to be very private on who those people are in our industry. Whether they're in the spa as well. We've had it where we've had people sitting beside each other like, I don't know if that's that person, or is that who I think it is? And not being able to disclose that information, or making sure you have to be supportive of their privacy, and you can't disclose that information because it's not yours to share. We're all human. We all want some pampering. We all want some self-love, some self-care, and really respecting that on all levels, no matter who you are. As well as just sharing information. Like, this is something that I really needed to add into our policies of just having that information of not being able to take pictures unless you have someone's consent, or sharing. Same with even staff and employees, making sure that they know, like, if I'm taking pictures of you, you've signed the form basically that I have the okay to post this on social media or the website. Even for them, like, this is a topic that was brought up during one of our onboarding meetings with another staff member. Was at her old location, they had some type of policy around social media. Like, if she left, she needed to delete all photos that use their product or services. I feel like that's open to conversation. I mean, I haven't had that before where I've had someone come back at me like, oh, am I allowed to keep these photos or am I not? Like, I feel like that's all part of your portfolio, but I can see that being a conversation depending on how that termination or them leaving went. That's always something that you should have in your policy anyways, is even like them opening a location close by, they're going to become direct competition, whether you like it or not, but being okay with, we've already had that conversation about them using some of your, like, if it's a brand shoot and like headshots and marketing, I feel like you as the owner own that, like, that's like copyright purposes. But if it's like visually their work and they've done the nails or whatever, I'm pretty flexible in that. I don't know about you as like the employer, but that is something I would open to conversation depending how that termination goes moving forward with that staff member. Long story short, I felt like I didn't know how to word that specifically. Termination policies, all that kind of stuff, that's all labor board anyways. Like I said, you can look that up online. Just ensuring like proper reporting, making sure if clients have specific things that they've purchased or bought, making sure that's put in there. Workplace safety, making sure that if there was an accident or something, you have accident report forms, or they can come to your manager and talk about that, where you can have that staff member and that client sign off, basically seeing like this happened, so that will prevent like a lawsuit down the road, or if there was an incident of some sort. Obviously, you're going to have your client consent forms already on whether your spa software or paperwork as well, to prevent those type of situations. You got to have insurance. That is so important too. But just, this is like dotting your I's and crossing your T's for employees and knowing what could happen. The other really great thing that I have in here is client satisfaction, like making sure you're giving that professional vibe, the positivity, you're just like that radiance that they're craving to come in just to be with you, because your presence is like just amazing. You make them feel amazing. When you go into a spa, you can feel the energy. That is something I take pride in with our spa, is so many people just say, oh my gosh, your staff are just so happy all the time, or people, they just love working there. They really enjoy it. And that's something that I take pride in. Like, I want them as a client to realize that is one of our missions, is to have a safe work environment for others, as well as staff wanting to be there. They just love coming to work. That is my biggest thing, is I just want a safe, fun place for someone to come to work every day. And being flexible with hours and evenings and holidays. So if your staff members are, let's say Christmas, I always open up to the girls. Like if they want to work extra hours around the holidays, let me know. We're able to open up those schedules for them to get more staff in, especially it can be an expensive time of year if you want to purchase some extra Christmas gifts for loved ones or something. I'm totally flexible with that. Yeah, and the list goes on. There's like so many things going through here, like just chatting about like phone usage. That's another thing. I feel like it's hard now with social media and like wanting people to post and advertise for themselves, as well as like obviously spa management. I need to be able to get a hold of them. So they're like kind of an exception. Same with obviously the receptionist is on the phone all the time. So just kind of putting it in your manual or your policies is saying like, your personal phone being used during lunch hours only, but unless taking photos or something, where then they can put it back into their like locker or their like lunch box or something. Also put in your policies or miscellaneous policies about payroll. Like we pay direct deposit bi-weekly. That's something that's going to be something you're going to ask, is think of if you were a new employee, what you're going to be asking. Same with the tips. We have them put in as like a separate line item on their pay stub. Cash tips, that is totally up to the employee's responsibility to be able to take those every night. If they're doing any exchanging of bills or out of the cash box, they need a witness through Muskoka Aesthetics employee, whether a manager or receptionist. Employees are expected to stay for the full appointment time. So even if to stay with their client the entire appointment time. We were realizing a lot that clients were kind of like, where's my technician? Where's my, I'm sitting here getting a pedicure, but we're like, where did she go? Because they're soaking, but they're like soaking almost for too long because the girls get doing something. So we've now put it as a policy, like they're not allowed to leave their client during the appointment time, unless they are doing like a mask in the facial room. So then they can go and start cleaning and prepping for their next appointment. Or if it's back-to-back appointments with that specific client, that they're prepping for that next appointment. Same with like prioritizing, like this is really important that like employees are prohibited to take client information. Like that is something, like whether that's a phone number, an email, like us as the owner, like Muskoka Aesthetics, we have the right to have that information because they've given that to us, but not to the service providers themselves. Also just making sure you have some type of consent from your clients about posting on social media, even website, that kind of stuff, because that is something that can sometimes really be a touch point. Or even just ask, are you okay if I take before and after pictures of this service? Yeah, and just making sure people are staying busy. Like we're kind of a unique setup at our location where like I just want the girls to stay busy. Like there is different ways obviously to pay people, whether it's like hourly, commission and hourly or whatever, but like we're all part of the ship that needs to be running, and it needs to be a well-oiled machine. So it's like if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. So if you can, I got that from, is it the Founders? Whatever the McDonald's movie is. It's amazing if you haven't watched it on Netflix. But that's something that they said, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. And that was in the Netflix movie, The Founders, I believe, the McDonald's movie. But I highly recommend like just implementing almost like a list of things to do. So like if they're standing around, your manager or your receptionist be like, oh, here, do you mind crossing off this list? Or this is the Friday duties. We might as well get started on it on Thursday if you have some time. Like just making it really visible and available for people to know what to do. Or even if you have someone new on your team, they're wanting to help or they don't know what specific things need to be done on what day. Same with like leaving your stations at the end of the day, making sure everything's refreshed. I actually heard this amazing quote on a podcast. It was talking about even for your home. Like I sometimes leave my kitchen an absolute disaster. Like I am a really clean person. Like sometimes people come in my house and thinks it's like staged and we don't actually live here. But sometimes my kitchen gets out of control. And I heard this quote. It was like, basically think about it as like you're like the night shift where it's like, hey, you got to close it all up. So then it's ready to go for that next staff member in the morning or that next shift, which is you in the morning when you wake up. So why not set your home as well as your business the exact same? That's what I think is something really important to instill that into your team, saying like, okay, we really need to make sure everything's reset, ready to go for that. Either that's a new shift coming in or those people. Yeah, just making sure, like, even just safety precautions. If someone's alone in the spa, making sure that they're okay, or if it's like the opposite sex, if someone's in with like a male doing a service, just making sure that there's someone there in case something ever happened, and or locking that door with someone if they're in a treatment room, so no one comes in from the outside without them knowing. There's just so many things. I could literally keep going on and on about this, like inventory. Actually, we're going through a bunch of stuff with that right now with our business of how we're going to be tracking and actually monetizing that. But if there's anything specifically you want to go over, or you have more questions, make sure to send us a message on Instagram, or even just comment below what some of your great takeaways were with this, as well as just a review. I feel like this is something, like I said, I'm currently going through with my business. And I think it's really interesting to see how other spas and salons are also operating in their policies and procedures. It's been absolutely amazing getting to know what other people are doing within their businesses, and really seeing how you can change your business for the better. Yeah, I feel like this was a great topic. I feel like I ranted on a little bit with certain topics, but hope you got something out of it. I know I have been brainstorming and working on this policies and procedures for about 2 weeks maybe. And I think our policy and procedures, to be honest, we have 43 pages. That's a lot, but I feel like it covers everything. Like, I just touched the surface of our intro of this policies and procedures. But even we talk about our team values, our missions, we go through our promises, like guest promises, what we want for our guests as kind of like those VIP clients, how to talk through if there was a situation, or if there was complaints and things like that, how to get around that, and how to kind of set those people up, and knowing the verbiage, what way to say it, or the correct way to say it, and the ways not to say it. Because I feel like even though we're adults, sometimes people just don't know these simple terms, or customer service and how to move forward. But like I said, there's just so many, like even operations and standards. That's something we're going through, as well as making sure we've got that employee handbook with all of the operations and standards per service. So we started using Google Chats. I think I mentioned that in a past episode, and it's been amazing. So each category is going to be each service that we provide, or even like our spray tan booth. How do you put it back together? How do you do your regular weekly maintenance on that? Our hydrobrasion machine, how do you do all your sterilization and cleaning for that? So really making sure that if someone were to step into your business, they can know exactly what they need to be doing with simple tasks, policies, procedures, and they know what your expectation is as a business owner going into your business. So yeah, I hope you got something from this. If you love this episode and you want to share with another SD bestie or someone in the beauty industry, make sure to screenshot, share it on your stories, tag us. We'd love to hear more feedback from all of you. And thanks again for listening to Beauty Behind the Brand.